Hello trader, welcome to this video today. So my name is Anthony as usual, and as I promised you on Sunday that I will be coming here today on Wednesday to give you an update on what we did on Sunday. So if this is the first time that you have landed to our channel, let me take this opportunity to welcome you. Okay. So as I've said, my name is Anthony. I dedicate my time to help you on how to understand the market structure and also be able to break down the market structure on your own without depending on anyone. Okay, so if that's something that you would like to learn, then I have only one urge to you. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, so kindly make sure you subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that you get notified immediately I upload a new video. So without wasting time, let's dive into the market and see what the market has to offer. So if you really want to see how we did all this, because I did that analysis on Sunday, so make sure to revisit the video before you come to watch this one. At least you get to understand how we get to arrive to this area. Okay, looking at the Euro USD, you can see that from the daily time frame, the market took out this swing low. Now, meaning we have a break of structure to the downside. Okay, so how do we say that? How do we confirm that the pullback of this daily has begun? So we said we need to see the 4-hour swing shifting bullish. Okay. So in other words, we look at the internal structure of this time frame. If the internal structure turns bullish after taking out the previous lower low, then that one confirms to us that this market wants to come for a daily pullback. Okay. So looking at this market, the last internal break was here, and this was the last fractal break. Okay, so at least we said we needed to see this fractal high turning bullish. So if you get the fractal break of structure, that is a confirmation that this market is really willing to come for a pullback. But since we don't have that, so market is still looking bearish. So going down to the 4-hour, but before I get to the 4-hour, let me show you how we managed to mark this point of interest. So assuming that this is our low, this is our swing low down here, okay, meaning that the market, if the market decide to start full back as at now, so this is where we expected to see a pullback coming to this supply zone, and then we look for selling opportunity around this area. Since we don't have any other order block above here that is seems to be very valid, because even if you go to the weekly time frame, you can see very clearly that this weekly order block was already mitigated by this bullish candle. So the only order block that you can see even from the weekly time frame is this buy candle before this sell that led to this break of structure. Okay, that is why we refine that weekly order block on this daily order block. So having that in mind, now you can go to the 4-hour time frame. Okay, getting to the 4-hour time frame, we can really see that this is the last break of structure to the downside. Okay, and the market came to this supply zone, and we were looking to sell from this area. But there is something that is happening that caught my attention around this area, guys. If you compare this bullish movement and this bearish movement that is happening here, okay, so if I ask you, what do you think? Do you think the buyers or the sellers are really in control of this market? Okay, if you have said buyers, then at least from what we are seeing, it means now you are correct. Because if you look at the sellers, how they are moving or how they are struggling to push this market, seems to me or to us that this market is really bullish and the buyers are still in control of this market. So that one means that very soon we might be seeing the market coming to take out this high. Okay, to take out this high, and when you take out this 4-hour high, it means now the market is now ready to come for a daily swing pullback, and this is where we'll be expecting the market to come to, and then we look for selling opportunity around this area. Okay, since now we trade structure, what are we seeing in terms of structure here? I can see very clearly that this is the last internal break of structure around this area. So let me remove this sell position. So if I pick my fib, I place from the high all the way to the swing low, I can really see that the market has already traded to the discount area. Okay, you can see that the market has already traded the discount. So that means anything can happen now since the market has done what? Has traded to the discount, because we know very well we want to sell when the market is at the premium, and we want to buy when the market is at the discount. But since now, if I look at this market, I can see the only point of entry that I see here, it is down here. I have this order block down here, and I'm using this low here as my inducement. Okay, so if I go to the 1 hour, you can really see that within this impulsive move to the upside. So the only inducement that you can see it is this low. Okay, so this is the only liquidity. So that is why for me I was looking to sell around this area, targeting this inducement area. Okay, so once the market takes out this low, then I have to get out of this trade, assuming now this one I will be tapped here. I will have to take to get out of this trade and then watch the market how it will do around this area, because this is the last bullish break of structure internally. Okay, and looking at what is currently happening here, you can really see that the sellers are really struggling to push this market. So my idea is to take a short term buy here, short term sell here, as I'm waiting for a market to come here, and then we continue going up. Okay, going to the 15 minutes time frame, because that is where my entry will be coming. From the 15, you can see that this is the last 15 break of structure, which means that this is the 15 swing structure. Okay, and if I pick my fib again, I place from the high all the way to the low, you can see very clear that my point of interest is resting where? At the premium. Okay, that is where I'm looking to sell from. All right, I'm still having this other point of interest here, but I don't have more confidence with this point of interest more than this one, since when you go to the 1 hour, when you go to the 1 hour time frame, what are we seeing from the 1 hour? From 1 hour, there is no point of interest above here. So the only order block that you can also see from the 1 hour, it is this last buy before the sell. And the market has already tapped to that order block, and we are seeing a rejection from there, guys. So it means market can fail to come to this 15 minutes order block and decide to react from this 1 hour order block. So if it happens like that, well and good, there is no problem with that. Okay, we are seeing a very strong rejection from that daily, not daily, but 1 hour order block. Okay, and looking at the time of the day now, we have like from looking at the time and at when I'm making this video, it's about 7 minutes to London Open. Okay, so it means it's the right time for me, the right time of the day for me to look for my trading opportunities. Okay, so we have like 7 minutes to London Open. I don't know whether the London Open will give us that momentum to come and tap us in, and then I will be targeting this Asia low here, or this swing low of the 15 minutes time frame. So that is my setup on Euro USD. So I'll just be looking to sell to buy. Okay, that is my anticipation. I don't know what you think about this analysis. Let me know in the comment section. So looking at the DXY, someone told me, requested me to do analysis on DXY. So we want to confirm this analysis that we have done on Euro USD, whether it is aligning with what is happening on the DXY. So looking at the DXY, we have this break of structure here from the daily time frame. Okay, we have a bullish break of structure. Or someone, if there is someone here who doesn't know the correlation between the DXY and the Euro USD, this is the correlation. So the DXY is like a driver to the dollar pairs. Okay, so all the dollar pairs that are the pairs that are associated with dollar, the likes of Euro USD, GBP USD, Audi USD, NSD USD, so they tend to follow what exactly is happening with the DXY. Okay, because we have said DXY acts as a driver to the dollar pairs. So if the DXY is bullish, we are expecting to see the dollar pairs, the likes of Euro USD, GBP USD, to be bearish. Okay, that is the correlation between the two. Okay, so from the DXY, you can see this is the last break of structure here to the upside. Assuming now this is our swing high, what do we do now? If I pick my fib, place from the high all the way to low, you can see very clearly that this is where we anticipate the market to come to for a pullback before we look for a buying opportunity. And this is a flip zone. Okay, we also have this demand zone that is resting at the extreme. So at this point of time, we don't know which point of window the market is going to use. That is why we are marking all the point of window that you can see that are resting within the discount. Okay, so it means that as much as we are waiting this market to come to this area, so we are anticipating the Euro USD or the DXY to be bearish internally as it is heading to this area. Okay, so but currently, and remember also we have said if the daily wants to come for a pullback, then the 4 hour swing has to give us a change of character. So if I go to the 4 hour, but before I do that, let me remove this fib and then you can go to 4 hour. When you look at the 4 hour time frame, what are we seeing? This is the last BOS from the 4 hour, and the market has closed below here, giving us a change of character. So if I measure this from the high all the way to the low, we can see very clearly that this is our point of interest that you can see here from the 4 hour time frame. We can have this order block around this area. Okay, so although the market has tapped to the 50%, and we know very well that anything can happen from now, for now, but since the internal structure has not shown us an intention of bearish movement, because if I look at the internal of this 4 hour structure that has been created here, we can see that this is the last break of structure. The same thing that we have seen on Euro USD. But unlike Euro USD has not given us this change of character here from the 4 hour. But since the DXY is a drive of the dollar, so we expect that Euro USD to follow exactly what is happening on the DXY. Okay, so that is why for me, I'm looking for that buying opportunity. Let me show you that from the 1 hour. We have this internal break of structure. Looking at this impulsive move on 4 hour to the downside, so we are seeing this the last. We have this I here that is liquidity. So that's why I'm anticipating for a market to have that a push to the upside, a little push to the upside, at least to take out this inducement, react from this order block, and then we continue selling to take out this low, and also the market to head up to this area here. Okay, so my short-term buys that I'm looking for here, it is from this order block, and you can see the same with the Euro USD. It has already tapped to this 1 hour order block, and we are seeing some kind of rejection. So if I refine that zone from the 15 minutes time frame, that is exactly the same thing we are having on the Euro USD, this order block here. Okay, so that is where I will be looking to buy from, meaning that is where I'll be looking to sell from on Euro USD. Having in mind that this will just be a short-term buy as I'm waiting for a market to come to this area, and then I look for that selling opportunity. So now we can see that the DXY or the analysis that we are having on the Euro USD, they are aligning with what we are seeing on the DXY. And that is the correlation that we do have between the dollar or the DXY with the dollar pairs. So that is my anticipation, and that is my view on DXY. Also, let me know, what do you think about this analysis on the comment section. So moving next to the next pair, for this case, it's going to be gold. If you remember very well from the last analysis that we did from gold, we saw that gold is reacting from this support zone from the weekly time frame. Okay, we had this support zone from the weekly time frame. So, and we really said that if this market wants to use this support zone and push to the upside, then the market has to give us a change of character here. Okay, the market has to give us a change of character from the 4 hour time frame. Okay, because if you have a weekly point of interest, then your confirmation should be coming from the 4 hour. It means the 4 hour swing has to turn bullish. But since the 4 hour swing is still bearish here, so for us, we were looking to sell from this area, which we marked from the daily time frame, and then we refined it from the 4 hour time frame. Then I was telling you guys that you should be waiting for M formation here from the 15 minutes time frame, which exactly happened. If you go to the 15 minutes time frame, you can see very clearly we have a push, a pullback, a push which broke to the upside, and then we had a change of character. Okay, so immediately I saw this change of character, I had marked this demand zone, which turned to be support. So that is I had that one as one of my point of interest, and I also had this fair value gap here from the 30 minutes. So I was looking to sell from this 30 minutes fair value gap here. Why was I looking to sell from there? Because if I pick my fib place from the high to this low, I could see that this breaker block here was sitting at the discount. And for me, I don't like to trade when the market is still at the discount, since we are very bearish. So I anticipated a more bullish, at least to the 50%, before we look for that sell. And by doing that, I ended up missing this entry here. And you can see the time of the day when this entry came. Okay, exactly during the London Open. So the market tapped to this zone and decided to push to the downside. But since I missed this first entry, but I was able to catch this entry, if you go to the 15 minutes time frame, I want to show you how I did this. So from the 15 minutes time frame, I saw this break of structure. So the market swept this fractal high, came down to sweep this low. Okay, I said, okay, this is still a continuation of this structure. So if you understand that. So I marked this inversion fair value gap here. We have this overlapping fair value gap around this area. So that was my entry. So I placed my limit order here, stop loss above there, and my target was exactly 1:3. So I exited around that area. Okay, so I was tapped in some few minutes to New York Open. Okay, that is when I got tapped into this trade, and the really trade played very well since now the New York volatility kicked in, and the market was able to hit my TP. Okay, so after that we saw another break of structure here to the downside. Okay, and I had this point of interest here. But since this is why I'm telling you guys, you have to know the time of the day when you are taking your entries. Okay, so I was able to avoid this sell here, this setup here, or this loss around this area. Why was I able to avoid this one? Because I saw that the market failed to tap me in here. Okay, within this time window. Okay, this is my New York session. So market failed to tap me here during the New York session, and for me, I don't like taking trade past New York session. So once the New York closed here, I just removed my limit order here, and by doing that, I was able to avoid this loss. So this is why I always emphasize on, you have to understand the time of the day when you are taking your entries, depending on which pair that you are trading. Okay, so currently, what am I watching on gold, guys? So let me go to 1 hour. I want to show you something. The same with what is happening on the Euro USD. Okay, so if you look at this this market, whatever is happening currently, if you compare this impulsive move and this correction move, what can you say? You can really say, it's tell that the sellers are really struggling to push this market to the downside. Okay, so we're having a little bit of the fight between the sellers and buyers around this area. So the same to the Euro USD. I'm just trying to take a short term sales as I'm waiting for a market to come to these areas, and then I look for buy opportunity. Okay, okay, unless the market decide to close below these lows. Why am I saying that? Because looking at the 1 hour time frame, internal structure of 1 hour time frame, this is the last valid internal break of structure, a strong break of structure from 1 hour time frame. Okay, forget about this one. We have this, the break of structure happened around this area. Okay, after doing what? After sweeping all these internal structures, market pushed up to give you this break of structure. So meaning this is the first pullback that happened from the 1 hour time frame. So if I look at this structure, for me, this is just one impulse from that low all the way to this high. So if I pick my fib now, I place from that high to this low like that. What am I seeing? That is why I'm marking this point of interest here. This is my demand zone. Okay, and this low here was acting as my inducement and has already been taken out. So if the market, this is where I will be watching the market to come to. Okay, if the market gives me a confirmation around this area, I'll take my buy from there. If this zone fails, then I also have an extreme point of interest around this area. So until then, I'll be looking for selling opportunity, and this is the area that is at now. I was looking to sell from this area. Okay, what am I seeing? I'm seeing an internal break of structure here after sweeping this high. We have a sweep of liquidity and then a break of structure. Okay, to the downside, meaning these are it's our protected high. And I could see this flip zone around this area, the last buy before the sell that led to this break of structure. So that is what I had marked as my point of interest. And I'm seeing like gold is kind of it's trying to leave us. But assuming if the gold will come back and use this high as liquidity, because for me, I don't chase the market, guys. My limit, if I decided to put my limit here, it will remain to be there. So if the market wants to come and tag me in, well and good. If it wants to leave me, also well and good, because that is where I will be looking to enter from. Okay, so that is my view on gold, guys. I don't know also what you think about this. Let me know on the comment section. So moving to the next pair, for this case is gonna be BTC. We did the BTC here together last time, guys. So also, if you want to know the thorough analysis that we did on BTC, so kindly make sure to watch the previous video before you watch this one. At least you will understand how we did that analysis. So from the BTC, we saw that this is our last swing break of structure from the daily time frame. And as usual, as I always say, if the daily swing wants to come for a pullback, then the 4 hour swing has to turn bullish. Okay. So if you go to the 4 hour, Has the 4 hour swing shown any intention of having a bullish trend? Of course not, because this is the last break or structure from the 4 hour time frame. So what did we do here last time? We marked this point of interest here from the 4 hour time frame. Okay, so what did I tell you guys? You should be waiting for the market here from the 15 minutes time frame. If the market gives you that M formation, then you should be looking for selling opportunity. Exactly, the market did that. I want to show you guys another importance of paying attention to the time on when you're executing your trade. Okay, so this is what happened. This was the last break of structure before the market mitigated this on, came down and gave us this change of character to the downside. So once you saw this change of character here to the downside, then it means now that is a high time that you should be looking for that selling opportunity. Okay, so I went to 1 hour time frame. From the 1 hour time frame, what do we see? We had this demand zone here, which turned to be a breaker block. So the market violated that zone, so it becomes a breaker block. And you also have this demand zone here from this supply zone from 1 hour time frame, which is in confluence with our breaker block. So making this zone here, this zone that is overlapping with this order block becomes very powerful. Okay, that is an area that I was looking to sell from that area, of course, with the confirmation, since I could not see liquidity below this low. But unfortunately, the market pushed up, okay, violated this zone, pushed up to give us a break of structure to the upside. So you see, even if I was looking to take an aggressive entry here, but because of time, because this is our New York session, okay, so already the New York session was over before the market came to take us out. So it means that even if I was looking to trade, I could have closed my order once the New York closed, because for me, I don't trade past the session. Okay, so by doing that, I could have avoided this loss around this area. So what did the market do? Pushed up, broke the structure. Since this zone is a very strong zone, guys, I'm telling you, if you start paying attention to these structures than what I really do here, they are trending. The way you view the market will really change forever. You see how this powerful zone is, and the market came exactly where, to that area where this breaker block is overlapping with this demand zone, which is this zone. Tapped there, tried to give this buy momentum, came down again, or reacted from the same area, broke to the upside. But since now, this is why I'm telling you the trend will always win. If you go to the 4 hour time frame, since we are reacting from the 4 hour time frame, someone might say, okay, maybe this market violated this zone. Did the market violate this supply zone? Yeah. You can see the market never closed above. So what it did, just wicked above, but closed inside. So it means that this supply zone is still holding. Okay, this supply zone is still holding. So if I have to look for an entry confirmation now, I have to pay attention to this law. If the market breaks this law, because this is my strong law, since it swept all this internal liquidity, all these structures were swept by this law before breaking this high. So if this market takes out this law, then that is our confirmation that this market is willing to go down. So this means what? You join with the pullback, and then you target the new lower low that will be formed here, and all these lows becomes liquidity. But as at now, we are seeing an internal change of character here. This is what I call an internal change of character. So if that market has that pullback, because I can see now we have really closed below this point of interest, it means now we have violated this zone since we have closed below it. So what are I anticipating now? If you want to take, we have this kind of setup here. It's a very risky setup, but you can really take it because of this internal change of character here. You can see the market came, reacted from this supply, pushed down to give you an internal change of character around this area. So you can really uh, look for short-term sell from this area. You sell from here, you target this low, because from what is happening from the 1 hour, 4 hour, we are anticipating the market to come and take out this low. That is why I'm saying that you should be looking for short-term selling opportunity from there. But the best entry will be after the market takes out this low. Okay, so that is my analysis on BTC. Also, let me know on the comment section what do you think about this. So moving to the next pair, for this case is gonna be NAS 100. Again, guys, I gave you this analysis here on Sunday, guys. All right. What did I tell you guys? I told you guys you should be looking for selling opportunity within this supply zone, because when I did this analysis, I think the market was around this area, was almost towards this area. And that is exactly what has happened. So the market came, reacted from the supply, and it's already played out. It has already pushed down to give you a break of structure to the downside. Okay, so as at now, you might be looking for another short-term sales around this area. Okay, because we believe the market should come down and take out this low. That is our target. This is our sell side liquidity. So that is why you can see we had put uh, our TP below this low, because that is where we're expecting this market to come to. Okay, so you can look, if the market will have that pullback, you can look for short-term sales around that area, and then you target this low to the downside. So this is what I mean. You look for short-term sales around that area, then you target this low, assuming the market will come for that pullback. Okay. All right. So that is exactly what we did on our previous analysis, and you can see almost 90% of what we did are playing out, guys. Okay, and this is exactly what most of you guys pay for me to teach them there. So if even if you don't afford my mentorship, guys, you can really make use of what we have been doing here, and I'm telling you, it will really change your trading journey. Okay, that one being said, if you really want my one-on-one private mentorship, you can find the link on the description of this video. You can WhatsApp me and I will really let you know on how to get started. Although I have to give you this disclaimer, I will not be taking new students on this month, but you can book your slot for the August mentorship. So that one being said, we can really move to the next pair that I would like us to analyze. Now, I have done my analysis on the pairs that I mostly do trade, but because I had some requests from you guys to have analysis on different pairs, so someone requested me to do analysis on Euro, GBP. So let's look at it. As always, because I've not been trading this pair, I will just look at it from the higher time frame. So looking from the monthly time frame, what are we seeing? So from the monthly time frame, I can see that this is the last swing BOS to the upside. So we have that break of structure. Did the market come to the 50%? Of course, I can see that this pullback came to the 50%. All right. So market tried to react from a demand zone that I can really see around this area. We have this demand zone, very tiny one. Market reacted from there and it's currently going up. So looking at the internal structure of this time frame, I can see this is the last bearish BOS, which led to this change of character to the upside. Okay, so we have this internal break, internal change of character. So once we see this, what are we anticipating? Because if I look at this is just one movement from that low to this high. So what do we expect? We expect the market to come to the 50% of the dealing range, and then we continue going up. Already the market has tapped to the 50%, but where did it react from? I can see that we had a fair value gap around that area. So market will try to sting from there. But do you see the buyers having the momentum to push this market up? Of course not. Because if this zone was strong enough, then it could have pushed this market to break this high. So that is why I'm seeing some bearish movement, at least some bearish movement, for a market to come to this place here. We have this order block there, and we also have another order block down here that is sitting at the extreme. Okay. So we have those two POIs. Since the market is very far from this one, let us leave this one at that point. Now, if I go to the weekly time frame, what am I seeing on the weekly time frame? So from the weekly time frame, I can see we have an last internal BOS to the downside here. Okay. That is the last, was it the last one? Yes, because we had a break of structure here to the upside. We had a change of character and then a break of structure. So what are we seeing? The market coming to the extreme, and now it's currently pushing down to the downside. Okay. So I'll just, but what I can tell you guys about this pair, for me, it seems like it is consolidated. I don't like the price action that we are getting from this area. But analyzing what is currently happening, if I were you, I could be looking for selling opportunity, because I can see we have this one as the last bullish break. Okay, that is the last bullish break. What are we seeing? If I place my fib from the high all the way to the low, Market has already traded to the discount, and I can see we have a very nice order block here. But since in terms of swing or in terms of externally, this market is very bearish because of this last break of structure. So I'm still anticipating that this zone should be failing. Okay. So my view is that I'm anticipating this zone to be failing, but that does not mean that we'll not get a reaction from here. So we have that order block and still have this order block down here from the weekly time frame. So going to the daily, remember every time frame has its own. Sorry guys, from going from the daily, I can refine this order block to that zone. I also can refine this zone order block to that zone. But from the daily time frame, we still have another break of structure here. But did this pullback, this first pullback, come to the 50% of this dealing range? Because if I look closely, if I measure like this, not that way, but I should be measuring from here. You can see that this pullback never came to the 50%. That is exactly why the market is having this deeper pullback, at least to come to the 50% of our dealing range before continuing to push up. So for me, I will just view this one as one dealing range from this low to this high. Since the market is around this area, this is what I'm going to pay attention to. Okay, forget about what has happened around that area. So this is what I would pay attention to. We have this one as my last BOS. Let me remove this fib. I have this one as my last BOS. Okay, market has traded to the discount, is currently inside this zone. So if you have to look for any buying opportunity, which time frame are you supposed to go? Of course, from the 1 hour time frame. When you arrive at the 1 hour time frame, what are we seeing? This is the last bearish break of structure. So if you want to look for any buying opportunity, then you should wait for a market to take out this high, and that will be your confirmation. A break, a pullback, and then you continue going up. Okay, so that is my view on Euro GBP guy. So for that guy that requested me to do this analysis, that is my view. I don't know what you are looking for on this pair, but that is it. But currently we can see that the market is really very bearish. Okay, the market is really very bearish. But until you have this change of character, you cannot really confirm that the market want to use this zone. Also, don't forget that these are very protected high. So if the market breaks this high, you have a very strong change of character. You can now join with the pullback, and then you target the high to the above. So someone else also requested me to do USD JPY. So let's see what the euro this pair is doing. I'm going to delete everything. So allow me just to start from the weekly. So from the weekly time frame, we can see that this pair has already, is it closed? But since the week has not yet closed, you cannot confirm that we have a break of structure yet, guys. So until this candle closes, we don't have a break yet. Okay. But assuming that candle will close there, we will have a very valid break of structure to the upside. Okay. What are we seeing? This was the previous break of structure here. That was the previous break of structure. What are we seeing? I believe the market came to the 50%, exactly, came to the discount, reacted from this flip zone, and then started pushing up to the upside. And you can see this is the last fractal break, which led to the fractal change of character here. And then later on, we have a BOS to the upside. Okay, let me remove all this. And then we still have this one as the last break of structure to the upside. So going to the daily time frame, this is the last bullish break of structure from the daily time frame. Okay. So what are we seeing? Is this a strong low? If you look closely, it has swept all this internal liquidity here, meaning it's a very strong BOS. We have a sweep of liquidity and then a break of structure to the upside. Okay. So judging from what is currently happening here, as much as we are waiting for a market to close above here, so this is the last internal BOS to the upside. Okay. Has market shown us an intention of the pullback? Of course, if you look at this one as your last fractal break, the upside, we can see that the market has closed below. Okay, we have a closure below this low. So meaning we have a fractal change of character, which confirms that this is our swing high from this daily structure. and we are currently inside this supply zone here. Okay, we have that supply zone there from the 1 hour, from the daily time frame. So what do? We go to the 1 hour time frame and we wait for confirmation from there. You can see this is our last fractal break of structure. After this bullish behavior, we have a break, a change of character. So what are we anticipating? If this market wants to really sell from this area, we'll get a M formation from this area. So currently we don't have that break first of all. But if we get that break to the upside, then we wait for this low to be taken out, and then we have our confirmation to look for selling opportunity the downside. Okay, but also don't forget, whatever will be happening here is this is just a counter trend. So the trend of the market is very bullish. Okay, so that now I don't like the price action that we are having on USD JPY. If I can advise you, is like give us same time, give this pair time, let it show the direction that it want to go. But as at now, we don't have a clean direction of this pair. So, but if you have that this information around this area, if you have a break to the upside and then a change of character, you can look for that short-term sales as you are targeting this low. So that is it on this pair, guys. So kindly, if I haven't analyzed the pair that you requested me, you will have to forgive me. But on the next session or on the next analysis that is will be on Sunday, I'll make sure to drop your analysis. So thank you for watching, guys. I wish you a fantastic week ahead. Until next time, it's a bye bye for now.